Welcome back, everybody, to Factorio C Block. This is episode number 15, and it's definitely C Block. It's not recursion, it's not linear, it's not meiosis, it's not nothing else but C Block. In fact, I think there's been a number of times I've started to record an episode and called it the wrong thing, and then I caught myself, and I deleted that and started over. And last episode was the one time it snuck through where I think I called it recursion last episode. No, this is definitely C Block. We're not inside of... Well, maybe we are inside a Factorismo building. Okay. Anyway, today we are going to bring this Behemoth online. At least part of it, this big thing we've been laying out. We're going to have to move it a little bit. And we also have to make a module layout. Module? No, a nodule module. Yeah, we got to make a nodule module. We've got to basically reproduce this thing to basically go from left to right over here. And it's going to extend our recipe a bit, and we'll have to add in these three guys, basically, that makes the sulfuric acid. That's fairly simple. We'll have to make that layout. But what I've been doing since last episode is, because I'm extremely visual, and just to help me think through the different things we needed to do, and the orders that we would put things in, I laid out just the sequence of machines that for all the different things we need to make. And we're going to start with reproducing the metals that we are currently using for the first 3 sciences, and then we'll move on to the things we need for the next 3. I guess we're doing 4, because we're doing the military one now. Okay, so for the first 4, and then the next 2. So this guy right here is our big iron setup. This guy here is our big copper setup. These guys on the right are just the sequence of machines. And I think last episode I was trying to decide whether or not to use the complicated lead recipe that could use these guys, which would use the pellets. But then that just gets super messy. We need some really complicated chemicals. And it turns out we really do not need much actual lead plate or tin plate, because the things we need tin and lead a lot for, we're going to be making in other ways. So here's our lead. Here's our tin. Let's not forget our car, because we are going to be laying some landfill in a second. This right here, this is steel, right? Is it steel? No. It's silicon. We need very little silicon plate. We do need a little bit. We need a decent amount of glass. So we're going to put those together. This is the aluminum, and that recipe should be fine for that. And then down here is the steel. And turns out we need, this is kind of odd coming from someone, myself, being that someone, who has played mostly vanilla throughout my time playing Factorio. We need very little steel for this setup, which is odd. And actually, we need about a third as much steel as we need iron. And this recipe, which is simple, which is nice. It's nice that it's simple. It takes... It's a 3-to-1 recipe. We take 3 ingots, we get 3 iron ingots, we get 1 steel ingot. So we're just going to tack the steel smelty blast furnace guy onto our existing iron furnace layout. And that should get us the amount of steel we want. And I think what we'll do, we're going to put our iron and our steel layouts right next to each other, because they're both going to need the coke and the limestone. Carbon does not, or copper does not. Well, this is not copper. This is for the brass. Oh, I was waiting for that. I was about to say, we're waiting on zinc research. I can fill it out now. That timing could not have been better. I swear to God, I did not do that on purpose. Now we can do this. Processed zinc. The important thing here is that it does not require lead. We're trying to simplify our stuff so that we're not making multiple metals for one thing and then having extra metals left over that we're not using. We want to make exactly what we want to make. So this does not require lead anymore. That's why I was researching it. This will get zinc ingots just from zinc. This is going to get us copper ingots just from copper. And combined, they form Captain Planet. Oh no, they form brass. And then we get brass plates. Okay, let's grab the... It's nighttime again, of course it is. Let's grab the car, move on down. Let's see, then we've got aforementioned lead and tin, which are going to be combined in a induction furnace, and they're making molten solder. And we're just going to spit that out onto a belt. It's going to have its own belt because we need it. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't put down... I had been, if you noticed, I forgot to mention, I've also been writing like my own shorthand of how much throughput we need for each one. So this one needs a red belt and a yellow belt for the brass. And then for the solder, we need like 1.5 of these. So we may as well just make it a red belt just to make our bus. Our bus is going to be huge, so we may as well compact it as much as we can. And here we've got tin wire coil layout. What's this recipe? It's not 1-to-1, right? Oh yeah, it is. Oh, that's very handy. Okay, that's pretty simple too. And this guy, I think this is the simplest one that uses the pellets. And I've only researched enough pellet stuff to be able to use them for the 4 basic ones. I think we need yellow science research to do any more than that. But that's fine because they get complicated with like all kinds of crazy chemicals and acids and stuff like that. Okay, so this is going to combine these two. And these coils, we need, according to my calculations, we need 5.55 tin wire coils for the first 6 sciences per second. That includes, that's mostly for all the circuits we need to build. And the last one is gold, and we're going to have a different layout for this one because it takes 3 different things. Crystals, and also takes crystals. We're going to have to use these leaching plants. It's going to take different specific acids. Nitric acid. I wonder, can we get nitric acid from this process right here? Let's look that up because I haven't looked that up yet. That's my suspicion. Nitric acid comes from, where's it come from? Well, Johnny, when a man loves a woman very much, nitrogen dioxide gas. Nitrogen dioxide gas. Purified water. Okay. Then to get nitrogen dioxide gas, I'm waiting to see this wastewater thing. Maybe we look up this. Okay, we want rubite chunks. Maybe that's a better way to look it up. Rubite. Oh, it's not going to be under there because this thing only... It's not as good as it should be. Okay, nitric wastewater. What can we make out of that? I'm kind of mineralized water and purified water. Oh. Okay, we're going to have to find a different way to get that. And this one requires hydrochloric acid. So that's a bit more complicated. But that's the gold we're going to need. And then after that, this is all the stuff we need to reproduce our current setup with, although I haven't done, that's a lie. I did not do Invar. Invar is the one thing we're missing, but we're out of room, really. I need to add Invar to this. And then after that, I'm also going to lay out just so I can sort of see how much we have to do and how we organize them based on how the recipes line up. We have to lay out, let's look at the list. Silver plates, titanium plate, cobalt steel, nitinol plate, powdered tungsten. That's all the metals. That's it. That's it. Oh, that's not so bad. That's all we need for the first 6 sciences. There's a lot of other things we need. But as far as producing metals, that's going to do it. And so I've got some landfill. We're going to lay out, and it's... like all the sciencey tech stuff I've unlocked. The one thing we haven't unlocked is how to place landfill faster. And the one way I was thinking about doing it was getting an exoskeleton legs, but those are too expensive and my armor sucks too bad to really use those. So the one way we can tech into faster landfill placement is the car. And it, oh my god, it's so loud. The sound design really does... The sound design is mostly good, but some things are just really loud. I think it's because the sound engine is trying to make the sound of all of these things placing at once. If we just do a few at a time, yeah, it's not as loud. But all together, and it just becomes really loud. And I'll edit it in, I'll edit it so it's not so bad. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Oh, you know what? I did not realize before then that you can actually outrun the worm's spit. I thought it would always track you as far as you would run. I guess there is a maximum distance there. Haha! Oh no, he got me. He got me. Okay, repair that car, robot. We've got some landfill to lay. All right, so after I had my fun with the landfill, I made a new nodule module layout out of the washing plants and that kind of stuff, all this kind of thing. And we had to fit it in between our future Substation Mark IIIs. This is a pretty squeaky clean layout, very condensed, but also I can still walk through it. Look at that! Bam! Look how dense that is, and I can still walk through it. Take that, squeak through mod. So one of the hard things about designing this layout is that the inputs are only one, and outputs as well, are only one to a side, unlike this kind of thing, for instance, which has two on one side and two on the other side. Makes it a little bit trickier, but I managed to figure it out. We've got the seafloor water coming on kind of like one side of this guy, daisy chaining through, and then the viscous, the heavy, it comes in viscous, and then it outputs heavy. So the heavy is going out the other side. It's going to chain of these guys. This isn't exactly the right number that we need. We actually need 10 of these guys making the heavy water and 25 of these guys making nodules. That's just kind of an awkward number to make a build around. And so what we're going to do later on, we're going to come back in. We're going to put one speed module, Mark 1. In fact, it's probably easier to look at it here because I can actually see the stats. One speed module Mark 1 has a speed bonus of 25%, and that'll change these 20 into effectively 25, and it'll change these 10 these 8 into 10. But next thing we need to do, we need to hook up the actual pumps. And you can't make a blueprint unless the thing is actually in the water. Like, you can't place it, you can't ghost it. You can't ghost it if it's red. If it's red, it's dead. Actually, let's move that down slightly. Okay, around here. Okay, my sniper rifle cannot reach those guys. And then we're going to make a smaller blueprint just of, I think, like this much. Like that. And then this is just so I can more easily line up the seafloor pumps and make sure that they work out, all that kind of stuff. Oh, but the substations are another thing we have to figure out because they need to be a different distance from us for a reason I'll explain in a minute. Let's see, these guys need to be there and there. These lights might be a problem. We're probably going to have to get rid of those. Okay, so there is that. Then I should be able to pick up the rest of that and plop that down right there. Yeah, it should be fine. The only problem is the substations are in slightly the wrong position because just the way I have this spaced out, I made a little duplicate of the liquefier end of these guys. So I copied this into a blueprint, pasted it down here to have something to work against. The only problem is we also need room for this kind of thing. Basically, these three processes way up here. We need to make the sulfur, and we need to make that into sulfuric acids. We just need room for machines, and this is not enough room. So I'm thinking if we keep this where it is, and we just move the nodule module down until this is just barely covering that, I think that will be plenty of space. And voila, there it is, hooked up to the pipes. I've got the updated blueprint. It really does look cool when you can just see it as a blueprint because you see all the connected dotted lines. Kind of looks neat. And I know it works because I accidentally plugged it into a power source and it immediately started generating mud and nodules, which I didn't want to do because now we're going to have to put those in a chest and carry them around or destroy them or something. We're going to leave that there for just a moment. How much of this stuff do we actually have? And you can see it's going to make our total sort of situation quite a bit, not like that, like this, quite a bit longer. So all these things are going to have to be moved to the right. These were just to sort of figure out the configuration I wanted them in anyway. So I always knew we would have to move them. We still have to figure out which order to put them in. Whatever makes most sense with the recipes. Probably try to put all the iron stuff next to each other because they all take the coke and the whatchamacallits. Let's get rid of this. Limestone. Gonna have to make a limestone generating sub area. Also have to make a coolant sub area. And only the things that we can, I guess, utilize the pellet recipe for is going to need coolant. And so that'll be another thing to prioritize what goes near the top. We might even mirror this thing and butterfly it, so to speak, so that we have pumps on the left one side and all the metals coming over here, and then the same thing, like pumps way over here to the right, and the metals going to the left, and then everything goes up and maybe to the right through a main bus or something like that. Okay, get rid of that and get rid of that. And then we will lay this thing out and make sure all of our blueprints are nice and updated and delicious and beautiful. Beautiful cupcake, butterfly, snowflakes. All right, so some time has passed, and I have the iron and the copper and the steel all set up, except for a few little exceptions, and we're going to turn the whole thing on and just test it, see how it works, what I left out, what I missed, what I screwed up. We are currently pulling 41 megawatts. I'm curious what our power drain is going to look like. But bam, just like that. I guess it will take a while for absolutely everything to come on. Let's see what it jumped to. Okay, it only went up like 10 megawatts. It will go up further as things start to trickle through. I have some little temporary drop-off points for these guys. We're going to make a permanent setup for this kind of thing. But just to get things rolling, and we don't need that much limestone or coke. It's actually less than 1 per second for the iron and less than 1 for the steel per second for each. So this amount will last a pretty long time, actually. And similarly, the fuel for the blast furnaces is gonna, for this, is gonna last a while. Oh, you took the coke as fuel. How do I prevent that? I guess just let the carbon filter first? No, I would need to physically replace it. And then after that, it should only accept, it'll keep refilling that one. Okay. Another thing I didn't think about. Okay, this is why we test things. Replace that. I guess for the time being, it doesn't matter that much. We're just doing a test anyway. And then all the way down here, carbon, carbon. I wonder, is that because these guys... Did they just get there first? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Okay, but that is all set up. We don't need the limestone or the coke for those guys. Let's walk down this way and see what all is going on. Okay, we've got the nodules, and we are generating the mud, and the mud is flowing upwards to be turned into landfill, just to get rid of it, and also because landfill is eternally useful. Okay, so what are we waiting on here? Sulfuric acid. Okay, we don't have, it looks like we don't have the purified water. Maybe I didn't hook that up. And, oh, that's right, also, I brought down sulfur to jumpstart this system, because it's a loop that feeds on itself, so we have to jumpstart it. I could have also, you can get sulfur from, I think, coke actually, but I decided to do it this way. Eventually, I'm gonna make also a permanent landfill setup where we are permanently making all of these different types. I guess I do want to make a painting or just want to do something silly. We can do that. Oh, I see what happened. Okay. So I connected up, these guys require the purified water, and I connected up with that. And I have some plants up here actively generating this stuff. But I did not hook up all of the systems together. Okay, so let's have some come down here. One thing to watch for is pipes that have to travel a very long distance. The efficiency goes down quite a bit. And so what we'll be doing is basically splitting things up and using pumps to push things where we want them to go, but also just making things a bit more modular. Like, for instance, just like this system right here, we're going to end it here, and then we'll probably reproduce this with these three guys the next set of these three big layouts we make. Okay, this got all the way down there. Are we getting the purified water? We are. Okay. And what about... Oh, oxygen. Oh, we really need oxygen. I forgot about oxygen. And this has to be here. Okay, the whole thing is totally going to fall apart without oxygen. And I don't think... Yeah, we can't use this lane. Okay, I guess we can use this one. Let's set up some oxygen. We don't need it exactly right there. What we need is an underground belt. Whoops. That's a massive blueprint. Okay, so if we do it here... Actually, if I do want it to be there... Actually, yeah, this would be better to do it like this. So we can go something like this. Yeah, all right. And we'll put... Oh my gosh, that's a massive blueprint. Put that there. And I'll probably need to insert some pumps here and there to push things along. But just to get things going so we can test the system, we will do it this way. And, okay, now that we're free of all that stuff, I can just run. And we are going to use an electrolyzer, and we want that, basically. And we want some purified... I guess we can just borrow this guy's purified water. Should be fine. This whole thing, we're gonna make a more permanent setup. I just want to get things up and running. And if this causes power problems, it's actually not a big deal, because once we get our steel and our copper flowing through these guys, our ability to generate... It's only gone up to 50 megawatts. Yeah, that's no big deal. This amount of solar panels can power 100 megawatts on its own. The only thing is it was going to run our steam engines before our accumulator charge. They should really change that, don't you think? It's been a long time the game's been that way. Okay, so let's have this facing kind of like that. And I'll just put down two. I haven't done any specific calculations on this yet, on how many we need and how distributed they need to be. I'm just gonna set it up, and then we're going to be voiding this for the time being. The hydrogen. So we'll put you over here, and we want a... Well, I guess we'll go ahead and do that. I'm just getting rid of all of it. We don't technically need that. And are we covered by power? We are not. Let's grab one of these. Oh, right. Fine. Okay, so that's the max length. Right here. I'll just go over some and connect to that guy. Give you a bit of light. And then... There we go. Okay, now we've got oxygen. Should be flowing down here. Now the whole system should start to cycle through all the different steps. Okay, now we're making sulfur dioxide gas, which is being turned into sulfuric acid, which is melting the nodules into the slag slurry. This is going to be a little bit slow at first until the whole thing starts to cycle around. Oh, we need filter frames! That's a very important step. Right. Yeah. Okay, this is why we test things. Where's my car? It's way over here. Okay, that didn't help at all. Okie dokie. So, to get you guys started, where are the frames? There we go. Alrighty. Now we are in action. Now we're creating mineral sludge, and our sulfuric wastewater will flow back into the system. And through that cyclical process, we will start actually... Yeah, there we go. We're actually making the sulfur now. That's good. You both have inserters. That's probably not enough filter frames for the whole system, because we're powering 30 of these guys. Yeah, that does not look like enough. It's going to take a while for them to generate enough sulfuric wastewater to where it's just working nonstop anyway. So I think for a while, I'm just going to be... In fact, tell you what. Why do it this way? Let me just tell a machine to do it for me. Okay, I want you to make me filter frames, buddy. And faster than that. All right, just make them. There we go. All right, so that is happening. Let's go check this side of the everything. We've got the crystallizers. They are slowly working because we're not at full capacity yet. But obviously something's happening because we're getting crushed stone running up here to make that. In fact, it looks like this is not going to be enough. So I'm going to add another one. Eventually I'll combine these chests. We'll make a better layout, yada yada. Okay, we got tons of that, tons of that, tons of that. How are we doing up to this point? We are generating iron pellets. Okay, so something's working. We're just not at full capacity yet. Okay, so this much worked. This part is not going to work yet because we don't have oxygen down here yet. Similarly with the, whatchamacallit, the copper requires sulfuric acid and oxygen, so I don't have that yet. Here's our sulfuric acid line. Here's our oxygen line. And I'll probably make some kind of modular small setup for that if we can. Okay, what about this guy? Have we made any... Okay, there is molten iron in here. And we got molten iron, we just don't have coolant. Okay, so everything works up to there. Haven't made the coolant yet. Let's run down here. I think all of the lights are going to pop on in a second. We're back down to 39, I guess, because we're not up to full capacity. And we're not, like, actively outputting anything. So we're not going to be running the whole thing at once anyway. But it seems like, for the most part, things are working. I'll have to go around and check to look for little errors here and there. You are waiting on sulfuric wastewater. I wonder, it's possible that our system is just too big. Let's see what's going on here. You are waiting for oxygen gas. Is not enough coming down here. Oh, what happened? Okay, so the oxygen gas died. All right, what happened? Did we get... Oh. That's a... All right. Okay. That's a gas. That's not a liquid. So we can't burn it that way. The saline water we are voiding out with that. Okay, we need a flare stack. Not a clarifier. Obvious mistake. Okay, get rid of that. And where did he go? There we go. There we go. All right, lovely. Let's run down here and let's check it just one more time. What about this guy? This guy, for now, the mineralized water. Since we're very far away from our algae farms, we're just going to void that all out. And that is a liquid, so it should go into there. I guess the pipe itself hasn't filled up enough yet. Here comes the sulfuric wastewater. Okay, so the system is turned back on. There we go. And the sulfur is still backed up anyway because we weren't getting... You know what we need in this middle section here are some lights. This is a new layout, this middle bit. And it is fairly dark in here. All right. Ah, much better. Okay, so let's check the system once again. We're making sulfur dioxide gas with the sulfur and oxygen gas. We are making sulfuric acid. We're just waiting. I guess the system hasn't fully come into its own yet. Yeah, because we need to filter all that stuff through here to make the sulfuric wastewater, which loops the system. We don't have enough filter frames, and it takes a while for the... There we go. That'll help. There we go. Yeah, that's right, guys. All right, anyway, but the system seems to be working. We've got a few extra things to add. Here is the base as it exists. I think in, like, episode 2, the base was, like, here, and it was, like, this big. This is episode 15, and it's this big, and this is just preparing for the middle game. We're just preparing for the middle game. But that's going to do it for this episode. Hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you later. Have a good day. Goodbye.